Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I rode Shockwave at Drayton Manor for the very first time recently, so I thought I'd do a quick review to share my thoughts on it. Shockwave is a stand-up roller coaster which opened in 1994, manufactured by Intamin. This ride is the only stand-up coaster in the UK, and honestly there's not many stand-up roller coasters in the world, so this is definitely something that's unique. I want to start off by saying that Shockwave definitely dominates the Drayton Manor skyline, along with the park's drop tower Apocalypse. However, it's a shame that there isn't more theming on the ride or in the queue line. In fact, I personally found the queue line quite boring and very enclosed, so if you suffer from claustrophobia, you may find this a little bit of a difficult queue line to wait in. Not only was there no theming and no backstory, the queue line was unfortunately very dirty with cobwebs, graffiti and rubbish. Also, because I went on a very hot summer's day, it got insanely hot and clammy in that line, and I was waiting for about 50 minutes in that line. My general thoughts is that if Drayton Manor wish to keep this ride, then it definitely needs some love. But we all know that Drayton Manor are more focused on the family rides than the thrill rides, so to be honest, this ride may not be staying at the park for too much longer. We already know that Apocalypse is leaving the park due to this very same reason, so it wouldn't surprise me if they announced that they were going to get rid of Shockwave at some point soon as well. I honestly wasn't very impressed with the look of the attraction's queue line, and honestly it's kind of sad to see a ride looking so ran down. I feel like there could have very easily been some sort of backstory added or more theming added, but unfortunately that's just not been the case. I was riding in row 3 and I was on an end as well. And let me just quickly explain how the restraints are on this ride too, because my god, it's not very comfortable and it's definitely not good for your crotch. You have a saddle in between your legs, and then you have a fixed harness and a moving harness. What you have to do is put one arm through the fixed harness and then pull down on your moving harness. Thing is, if you're quite short like I am, it can be a struggle to get yourself up on the saddle and get yourself in those restraints. Operations for Shockwave on the day I visited were very slow. The ride was only running one train, which was the blue one, and there didn't seem to be any staff members asking for any single riders to help move the line along that little bit quicker. I think another reason for the very slow dispatches is because of the restraints, which some people may find confusing and complicated. The track layout is pretty decent. It attacks each of the 4 inversions with speed, and the coaster has a good pace to it. But long story short, this ride is rough. I found it insanely rough. It's also a bit of a headbanger. My family asked if it felt much different standing up on a roller coaster compared to other coasters, and honestly, in my eyes, I didn't really feel much different. The only thing reminding me that I was standing up was how unbelievably uncomfortable I was in those restraints. My crotch area was not very happy with me after I went on this ride. So Shockwave was a bit of an interesting experience to say the least. And the best way I feel I can describe my thoughts on Shockwave to you is that it's a roller coaster that's kind of just lost its soul. It's looking very run down, it's looking very sorry for itself. And for an iconic ride to be looking like this, I just can't help but feel a little bit sad. The lack of love lets the ride down, the very uncomfortable restraints lets it down, the lack of theming and backstory lets it down, the queue line lets it down, and then on top of that, I just found the experience very rough. Don't get me wrong, on one hand I love that we have something that is this unique here in the United Kingdom, but at the same time, I just can't help but feel a little bit sorry for this ride. Of course, Shockwave is getting very old now, and with the family direction that Drayton Manor is heading in, I do question how much longer this ride will remain in the park. To conclude, I'd give Shockwave a 4 out of 10. Standing up, unfortunately, just didn't give me the buzz that I thought it would, and it's a massive shame that the park haven't been giving this coaster the love that it should have, probably for quite some time. So with that being said, what are your thoughts on Shockwave? Let me know in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, leave it a thumbs up. If you're new here, make sure to click on that subscribe button. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye everyone.